Or do you want to be way down there?
No, I want to be very. Oh, I love you too. I want to be very close to you.
So.
I think that was to me. I think the derogatory one was me.
So welcome. This is our Stars of Achievement Hunter panel. So let's give them a warm welcome.
Jeremy and I delight in the irony of that title, as currently neither of us works for Achievement Hunter.
Clearly a panel named 2 years ago.
When we originally were supposed to be here.
Yeah, so I'm Disney Wynn, and I am here with Jeremy Dooley. Awesome. Let's give him.
Hey.
Woo! And we have Geoff Ramsey. All right, so who here is a fan of Achievement Hunter? I want to see your hands. Awesome, great.
So a few of you.
There's clearly people here with other people.
Yeah.
I can see that, yeah.
So the format of this panel will be like the first 30 minutes. I'll kind of like feed them some questions, you know, some of the basic stuff. I won't steal too much from you guys. And then I'll open up to Q&A. So out of curiosity, who is wanting to ask a question today? All right, cool.
It's going to be a very brief Q&A.
So yeah, you guys, that gives you guys more time to, you know, jab and do what you do best.
Yeah.
Awesome. So just in case you don't know, Geoff Ramsey, straight from the Zim Zone. He's the co-founder of Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter. He's an internet gaming veteran. He's been doing this stuff like for as long as gaming has been on the internet, right?
But that sounds like, yeah, I'm very old.
You're old. Old man Geoff.
So a lot of you know he is a podcaster extraordinaire. You are on a lot of podcasts now. You're an actor, a host, a creative genius all around, multi-talented. But most importantly, you are a collector thimble and spoon enthusiast. And that's what matters most.
That's true.
All right, we have Jeremy Dooley here. He's a multi-talented gaming content creator and co-host and cast member for Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter.
So scared.
He was hired from the Achievement Hunter community as a video editor and then brought on full-time as a cast member, so he's basically every fan's dream.
Yeah, literally.
He's an avid streamer, both on his own time and with Rooster Teeth Achievement Hunter. You're an actor, you know, you rap, you write books. Like, what do you not do, right?
A couple things, yeah. Reach high objects.
So, yeah, let's give them a warm welcome again, now that we're acquainted.
That was nice. We just sat there and took that.
I was just about to say, in 19 and a half years, that might be the best introduction I've ever received. Right. Thank you so much.
We sit at panels and go, hey, it's these guys.
I am a huge fan of you guys.
I was
so
delighted by all the fuckface references. Thank you.
All right, so how are you guys getting settled into Momocon Atlanta? Did you guys have a chance to see much yet?
Not yet. We've been spending a lot of time at the signing booth so far.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of different hotel carpet so far, convention carpet. The reality is in these things, like I was talking to my girlfriend about it last night. I got here Thursday. I'm going to leave Sunday. I'm never leaving this building.
No.
I just go from the hotel room to the artist alley thing that we're in.
Which is all inside. We don't even go outside to get
and then
there.
back. So it seems like everybody's having a great time at the convention. I would love to see it someday.
Yeah. I mean, they asked us in probably late 2019 to come to Momocon. And we said, yeah, sure, we're in. And then every year it was like, okay, but this year we're actually going to do Momocon.
Right.
And by the time they actually said, yeah, 2022, it's happening, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what is
we said
huge.
What? We agreed to do what? When?
Yeah.
How long
I didn't
ago?
realize how big Momocon was. It's giant.
It's huge.
And it's been going on forever.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. People have been telling me every time they come up, they're like, I'm a veteran, been here 9 years.
How long has Momocon been going on? That was fucking nailed that. You were way ready for that question. Okay.
That was Heather Momocon back then.
Miss Khan, it's an honor to have you here. Okay, cool. Has anybody been here since 2009, every single one? You guys should get a special jacket or something that they give you, I assume.
So have you guys been to Atlanta before, like for leisure or anything like that?
You must have, right?
Well, I'm a big fan of the Dirty South. So, well, I grew up in Florida and Alabama, so we would come to Atlanta for vacations to escape Florida and Alabama sometimes. Not very often, but I have done Dragon Con a few times.
Oh, awesome! Yeah.
Oh,
Woo,
this guy.
DragonCon.
This Dragon Con guy over here. No, this is my first time in Atlanta, and again,
Oh.
I unfortunately won't be really seeing it. You know, 'cause
Yeah.
we don't even finish at the convention till like 8 or 7.
Yeah.
And because it goes pretty late, but yeah, I haven't really been to Atlanta before. I'd love to. I almost went to college in Savannah. I got accepted
wow.
to a college in
SCAD?
Oh, SCAD?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. And
Nice.
Jesus, imagine how your life could have gone differently if you'd gone and graduated from SCAD.
I know I might have actually been doing something art related.
I know,
but
dude.
Sure,
That's
sure
a
not now.
that's a really good school, Jeremy.
I know, and I went. I'd rather stay in Massachusetts and go to a school that later got sued for being awful, and then make videos. You know, it worked out anyways.
Fair enough.
What's the problem?
Yeah. Well, Atlanta has a really great nightlife. So if you guys, feeling adventurous.
The party animals that
yeah,
we are.
yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, Geoff, you've been traveling a lot lately, especially for Annual Pass and your different Rooster Teeth events. So I'm just wondering, have you lost your sense of time completely?
Yeah, it's been real weird. I do 3 podcasts. It's like basically most of what I do now. And somehow that one annual pass is responsible for like 10 times the travel as anything else. It's been a weird adjustment, right? Because there was a period in time where up until like 2018, 2019, I was traveling sometimes like 40 weeks a year, because we had like the Let's Play family and then all the conventions we would do. And then we had stuff like Haunter where we would film on location. And then there was also like some executive stuff I'd have to do. And then that pandemic happened, it was a hard stop. And so now it's been a weird adjustment trying to get back into it. And I find that I don't have the stamina that I used to
Yeah.
for travel. Yeah,
It's
so it
tiring,
wears me out faster. Like I was just in Orlando last week for that stupid theme park podcast. And yeah.
Every time I bring up Annual Pass too, you're always like, you have the same response every time to it.
I do it just because I know it gets to Jack. Like it annoys him, but I also know it hurts him a little bit, and I kind of like that.
I think Jack enjoys seeing your misery of being dragged.
He
into
does.
these.
Yeah, I feel bad for a second, and then I remember how much he smiles when I get off of a ride and I'm nauseous as hell, and I feel like I can't walk, and I can see the little glint of evil in his eyes. So, fuck him.
So yeah, going back to Achievement Hunter, I mentioned that you guys are veterans in gaming on the internet. So since you guys played such a huge part in the timeline and the development, what are the biggest changes you've seen to gaming content creation since the beginnings, and how have you adapted to those changes?
Ooh, I know the answer to the first one, but the second one is, I don't think, well, adapting, let's see, yeah. In terms of like content creation and what people are watching, what people are into, I've seen a real growing interest in competitive gaming, and specifically watching people who are really good and knowledgeable about the game that they're playing.
Yeah.
And then there's Achievement Hunter, in which we have people who are very good and knowledgeable about, Joe, Alfredo, like people who can really play these games, and then we just drag them down.
Yeah.
And we just break them. And I think that people do find enjoyment in that, and seeing someone who's so good and just a master of their craft be broken.
It's like public school. You teach, right? You teach to the dumbest level of the dumbest kid in the class, me.
Yeah.
So in Achievement Hunter, we play at the level of the least skilled person, which
Gavin.
is everybody but the people you mentioned.
Yeah. But there's also been a shift over. I mean, like Achievement Hunter is always trying to be not only like with what's going on, but trying to be a bit ahead of it too. Like trying to develop and guess where it's going, because it's the best you can do with content creation is guess what the next thing is going to be and what's going to take off. And like you said, what's doing really well is like TikTok, and the shorter videos and stuff like that is doing really well in its own avenue. Achievement Hunter is trying to match like the length of content that's doing well for people.
Lots of short form.
Yeah, because that's what's doing well on YouTube. But then you've got streaming, which what does really well is super long content.
Yeah.
So it's these two different avenues, and Achievement Hunter is trying to live somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah, it's a fun thing to try to navigate. And I realize I almost said a fun thing, but I do mean it's a fun thing because it's fun problems to solve. Clearly, when Achievement Hunter got its start and we kind of developed into the core gaming group that we were making highly edited videos for YouTube because that's what people wanted. And then we saw the appetite for videos get longer and longer and longer, so our 3-minute videos adapted into 45-minute and then 60-minute videos. And then the appetite shrunk, and then we shrunk down with it. And clearly now streaming is the kind of the I guess the popular outlet. I still loved editing. I love being able to cut out shit I said that I didn't mean to say that I don't want people to hear, you know? And I definitely appreciate not being live, like in front of an audience where I could fuck up and there'd be so many people to remember it and then talk about it on social media and tell my mom. But it's fascinating to kind of watch the trends and clearly, like YouTube is not the gaming mecca that it was many years ago, and that it's kind of fun to try to figure out why. I think a lot of it has to do with when what we were doing on YouTube took off. It was still most people still couldn't afford to get every video game in the world, and I know a lot of people tuned into the personalities and to hear the jokes and the narratives we were building. But I think a lot of people also tuned in to watch the game itself and see it. And now with things like Game Passes, I think it's just a hell of a lot easier to play those games, and people want to see other people play them a little less maybe sometimes.
Right.
Because they have access to do it themselves now.
Yeah, or see people who, if there's a game that they really like, see a person who's going to play all of that game and play it like really well. Whereas Achievement Hunter bounces from game to game, doesn't really do like the full series, but does sometimes. I love when Achievement Hunter plays through a full series.
I do too.
Michael and Alfredo doing Cuphead was like really fun.
Yeah.
I loved watching through that. But yeah, like Achievement Hunter tries to fit in all these different avenues and just find what works and stick with that when they can.
So are there any trends that you guys have like ruled out, like we're not doing that, we're not on board with that?
Let's see, just completely said no. He loaded one in the chamber. He was like ready.
We were like, we will not be booby streamers, and then Jeremy quit. He was like, don't put me in that.
Yeah.
And he went off to do it on his own.
I didn't notice it was in my contract. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything that we said no that isn't gonna work for us.
We were resistant to streaming for a long time.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, there was
for the reasons mentioned before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then got into it, and that was the RTTV streams.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of streaming content going on right now, but it's still like, it's not the full like a 5-hour stream in one game or anything. It's still very Achievement Hunterized of like different games along the way, and the cast switches around a little bit because that's what Achievement Hunter does that a lot of streamers don't have. Is a big cast of people who all work together. So you can just like pick some out from all the group, put them together.
Yeah, we had actually some pretty clever streaming plans in 2019 into 2020, and right as we were kind of starting to execute all that, the pandemic happened, and then it made us become a streaming company anyway for a while, but in a different way. You know? I was always bummed that we never got to kind of realize that that reality, not reality, but like that variety show kind of thing we were going for there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Remember we did that big 12-hour stream right before the pandemic happened as like a makeup for we had to cancel the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That stream was a blast. That's when we really shocked Gavin and Jack, right?
Yes. Yeah, we shocked the shit out of those guys.
God, that was so funny.
Yeah, so obviously the industry has changed a lot, but you guys have also changed a lot. Some old faces left, we brought in new ones, a lot more inclusivity. How has that affected your dynamic, and has there been any backlash, or was it mostly positive reception to it?
Well, once again, Jeremy quit, so.
I got out of there. No, it's like, the thing is, when you say changing the dynamic of Achievement Hunter, whenever we bring new people into Achievement Hunter, I think the goal always is to not change the dynamic of the group as a whole, but to bring in bring a new person into that group.
Enhance the dynamic.
Enhance the dynamic,
Okay.
because no one ever just gets brought in because we go, like, I think they'll work. They do a bunch of videos beforehand just to see if they'll mesh well, because it's super intimidating to come in and do a video with Achievement Hunter. I know a lot of people think, like, I could do that. I'll sit down with those guys and play with them.
We've had a lot of successful YouTubers and streamers come in to guest with us over the years. People that are far bigger than us that leave at the end of the day going, Jesus, I don't know how you guys do that every day. That was a lot of work, and it was very intimidating.
It's a weird thing of sitting down with 5 other people around you, and then you play a game and you just say, go. And when you think of, when do I start talking? Well, that person's talking now. I can't start talking. You have to, like, wait for these windows, and you know when someone's kind of punchline is done that you can jump in with your thing, what will add, what will subtract.
And then you miss your window, and then you have to figure out, does this joke still work later on, or do I have to abandon it like a baby at a fire station? And then you do, and then
unnecessary
it's like, that
metaphor, but
yeah.
I see. But so yeah, and then we kind of vet people. We bring them in, we test them. They have them in a lot of videos, and there's conversations of, did this work out? Do we want to keep pursuing this person as the group, so that we know when they come in, they already work with the group, everyone likes them, it all just works out really well.
Yeah.
And it has been, it's been the most refreshing thing in the world. You know, I'm watching it a bit from afar, as I'm not involved in the day-to-day with those guys anymore, but I was heavily involved in, well, at least BK and Joe's hiring in terms of, like, I did a shitload of research. I watched a lot of their streams, watched a ton of their content. I became a fan of those guys before they worked at RT, and it's and Kai as well. And it's just been, like, awesome to watch the next generation come in, because what Achievement Hunter is today is not what it'll be 5 years from now, right? And it needs to be kind of shepherded in that direction by the newer, younger, as you were saying, more inclusive voices. And it's just really exciting and fun to watch and get to kind of mentor in the background, and just sit back and enjoy, I don't know, getting to watch this thing that 2 idiots kind of created at a pizza restaurant one night turn into, like, a generational brand, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
And get to watch what the new generations do with it. Like, it's not mine anymore. It was mine for a long time.
Yeah.
And then it became Jeremy's and that generation's, and it's still, I guess, theirs. And then soon it'll be led by Kai and Joe and BK and whoever we hire to come and help fill them in as Jeremy or Matt Dye or whoever, you know? Probably, let's be honest, probably Matt.
Matt, yeah. There's also this role that Achievement Hunter has always had, and I like watching it move, and it's the role of, like, who specifically is going to do and eat stupid stuff, right?
Joe.
And it's now Joe.
Yeah.
It's 100% Joe. It was Michael, it went to me, and now it's definitely Joe is the one who's gonna
How happy are you to pass that torch?
It was a good torch to pass.
Yeah.
I ate the sour balls, and my life was never the same.
So kind of remarking on what you said about, like, bringing in new people and meshing with them, how was it for you? Because you were already a fan of them, doing stuff for the community, and when you got hired on, did you feel like you were comfortable right away, or did it take some time?
Well, yeah, there was a couple levels to that, because you brought me in for about a week with Matt. Michael and Lindsay had taken a trip somewhere, and you said you needed more editing help. So Matt and I came in, we edited, we built for a week, and it was the same thing of you guys were kind of just seeing how we worked.
Yeah, you didn't know it, but we were auditioning you.
Right.
Yeah.
We had no idea. You kept doing these weird behind-the-scene things, but you'd, like, sprinkle some breadcrumbs for us to follow, like, because at the end of you're like, oh, like, you did pretty good. Like, could you ever see yourself working here? And of course, we're fans. We're like, yes, absolutely. and then we get to RTX, and Caleb comes up to us and he goes, hey, we want to do this funny bit. Can you and Matt go up to the panel, and we'll put you in the question line, and then you ask, hey, can we get a job? Because everyone does that.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
goes, and then we're just going to kick the shit out of you. He's like, we're going to tell you no. We're going to throw water on you.
He's like, bring a change of clothes, right?
I brought a change of clothes. All this stuff. And he goes, just to, like, keep people from asking in the future. And then you did the total opposite to that effect. And so Matt and I legitimately didn't know that was going to be the response to it. Like, we knew we were going to be there asking. And you gave that response. And that was Because then you said, hey, come up on stage. You're part of Achievement Hunter now. And then you watch the rest of the panel. I don't even think we had a microphone. And Matt and I just sat at the table, like at the end of the table. And it's definitely intimidating to start out. Matt and I started out working with Joel and Adam with How To, and then coming into Achievement Hunter. It is really intimidating at first for the same reasons. I mean, like, being a fan, you learn some cadences, and you kind of learn what people's roles are a little bit of, like, expecting what they're going to do or what they're going to say. But until you're really sitting there doing the videos, and I think editing the videos really helped as well, you get a little more sense of it. But it's just over time, that goes away of just worrying about anything. You'll usually do something that will just kind of destroy it, of, like, worrying about anything. Like, we filmed something once where you had me walk into a room, because I think everyone else was gone. I think you, Jack, Michael, Gavin had all left somewhere, and it was just like me, Matt, Caleb, and whoever. And they filmed something where I had to walk into a room and shout at Bernie, Matt, and Gus like they were the interns. And I'm like, guys, what the fuck are you doing? Get your work done. I only worked there for a couple months or something. And I had to scream at them. And I filmed that and came back out and went back to go say, like, all right, we did it. And Matt was gone. Matt Holm had left the room, so I didn't even get to say sorry. I didn't mean it. They break down the barriers quickly, but yeah, it's tough to get into it first. It's super intimidating.
I always thought you hated me.
Well, no, I didn't hate you.
But I felt like early on I was like, oh, he's not into me.
He's not into me.
This is not gonna
Dude, you won me over. I'll say that.
Oh, well, thank you.
That's what most people in here say to me. Like, when they come meet me at the bench, they're like, man, when you started, you sucked. They're like, but now I like you. Now I like you.
Yeah, nice. So has there been anybody that you guys have brought on and you didn't feel that chemistry with, and you kind of regretted
call someone
it?
out?
I mean, we said Matt already, right? No, I don't think so. I mean, well... I'll say this. Yeah. There are very few people that get hired at Achievement Hunter, despite a lot of people guesting and visiting. And we very rarely try to hire somebody who says no. So I think the people that worked out the best we got and we're very happy with. And I don't know. I think it's a very difficult thing to walk into that room and to shine. In the midst of all those strong personalities. And I think that there's a lot of really talented people that have come in and maybe it just hasn't been for them. Yeah. Which is totally fair, totally fine.
I know who we can call out. In terms of someone who's like really big in YouTube and like a really loud voice, but then when you put them in the videos with us, just like couldn't find the right time to jump in anything.
Who?
Lannon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to see if you were going to go
Liza Beam.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lannon,
little
like,
bitch.
huge following, right?
He's infinitely bigger than us.
Oh, yeah, which is why we can say all this, because it's not like he's going to see it. But yeah, he's like super nice guy, and he was like super funny and everything. It's just like and he did great in certain videos where there was like less people, when it was like the full team. It's just really hard to find somewhere to jump in. And that's the way with like a lot of big YouTubers we've had and that have really loud personalities. When you meet them in real life, they're so quiet. We had Jacksepticeye in.
Oh, he's lovely
and he's
in person.
So nice. He's
such
so
a like
quiet and
like kind of a tender guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
He was like
really
that. Aaron Hansen was like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just very nice people. And like, so then you go, all right, now go be internet you with like 6 other people. It's like really crazy.
Yeah. I can imagine that'd be really intimidating.
Yeah.
It's like a Shark Tank.
Exactly.
So, Jeremy, with your departure from Austin, kind of like before the pandemic, how, I guess you kind of answered at the beginning, but I was going to ask how involved you are with Achievement Hunter. A lot of fans want to know, are you like totally out, just focusing on your own thing? Are you still involved a little bit?
So I'm still involved. It was changing. People kept getting different answers because it kept evolving over time what the plan was and then what ended up happening and everything. So basically, I am focusing on streaming and writing and making music and the stuff that I kind of want to work on in my own time. But with Achievement Hunter, I'm basically on contract. It's anytime they go, hey, can you be in this video? I go, yeah, sure. And more often than not, it's TTT. They bring me in for TTT. But, I mean, I was just down in Austin recently. I filmed this like big thing with Rooster Teeth, like multi-day show we were doing.
Yeah, that one's going to be really cool. I wish we could. I think we're going to announce it at RTX. So we'd probably.
so, too.
Well, you can't get fired, but I still can.
Right. Yeah. I could say whatever I want. No, I can't.
But yeah, like that's like a big tentpole show, like a big.
It's like a sequel to a show we've already done, basically.
Yeah. And so that'll be really cool, and you're involved in that.
And I know they're talking to me about getting my VR setup at home to a place where I can record, because they want to. There's a bunch of VR games they want me in, and I guess that will be as close to like normally being with people as I can, because they're right there.
Yeah, and I just pitched you a new project yesterday that you gave me a very tentative yes for.
Yeah.
And I think that'll happen in June probably.
I mean, June, that's like tomorrow, isn't it?
I know. Lewis is in a hurry to make it happen, so we'll see. In June. I'm also out of town most of June, so but yeah, so definitely still working with us. And also, just in case the audience at large doesn't know this, like you have a home at Rooster Teeth and Achievement Hunter anytime you want it for the rest of your life.
Oh, thank
you. It is a revolving door, and you pick up where you left off the second if you ever, I can't imagine you would want to, but if you ever wanted to, I swear to God, dude, your job is waiting for you 30 years from now if you still want it.
I mean, I really do miss a lot of what Achievement Hunter, and like when I left, I wanted to make it very clear to everyone that like none of it was because of Rooster Teeth or Achievement Hunter. Like I wasn't leaving because of something. Like I was going back because of something. That's why. It was like I wanted to move back home to be with my family and everything like that. It wasn't like I was trying to leave anything. And I do miss a lot of what Achievement Hunter had. That dynamic, like being in that dynamic off camera, it's a whole different experience. Like sitting in an office with, now more than 5, it was 5, but like now it's, sitting in an office with 10 other people that are also just itching to make content. And then, you look and there's some moon balls, and then you look and there's something that can break.
There's
and then
some jelly.
Yeah. Whatever can be moved or like thrown or anything like that, and then someone gets the camera out and you start filming. I miss that so much.
It's amazing. Like the best stuff always happens. Like when Jeremy is talking about you be in the kitchen and he'll be like looking at a fork and like a grapefruit or something, and you'll just see Gavin go. And then you're about to get 5 very funny minutes of something,
Yeah.
Or not, and then nobody will ever know it was recorded. So.
Yeah. The first time I came back in the new space you were in, it almost killed me, because I was in one of those, like, they put me in a bin that you, like, put boxes in or whatever, and they were rolling me around, and Gavin wanted to see if he could hop on that motorized one wheel and push the bin. Like a delivery service.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then he just floored it, fell, and launched the bin into a table. And I ducked into it, so the corner went over my head. Like, it was brutal. But it's fun, I miss it.
With that kind of dynamic, like work being like play, and like you're surrounded by your friends and you're just always goofing off, like was it a hard decision to leave Austin?
Extremely.
Like, how has that affected your work, like not having that in-person natural dynamic?
Well, I think I kind of got eased into it because the pandemic struck and we all went to from home anyways. So I was still working with the same people, but from home, that was a hard turn to get used to, because you don't realize it until you're on a Discord call and not in the room, that there's this slight delay when you're talking to people.
Yeah.
And even that was messing with our dynamic of you jumped in at the wrong, so there was a lot of us like talking and going, and like letting the other person finish and then like jumping back in. So I got more used to that, and then, moved home, and, now I get to kind of play with that same dynamic with other groups too, like with Chilled Chaos and his whole group. I like to like play with them and stream with them, and they have their own different dynamic, and then I still do stuff with Achievement Hunter and TTT. But it was by far the hardest part of moving away. I mean, like, I used to love to have, like, have people at my house to play board games and like just hang out.
I got invited once.
Okay, it became a running thing.
I had so much fun the one time I got to go.
You were invited more than once.
I got invited twice. I only went once.
But it was a thing of as I played board games, Geoff would, anytime he heard about it, would be like, must have lost my invite. Like every time, so you didn't get over there. But like, the people at AH, like, you know, Gavin and Trevor and all, like, became my best friends. And so leaving them and going back to my family, it was like another family, right? Like it was just I was going between them. And I just knew that I never went on Discord to play, you know, Gmod with my family that lived in Massachusetts. But I do that with the people in Austin, so I still talk to them a lot.
Yeah, I think the thing that the audience will never see is, you know, I worked with you for many years and spent a shitload of time with you, and I could see the difference in you when your parents and your family and your sister would come to visit, and then when they would leave, and I could see the, like, I mean, I could tell how important family was to you at all times, you and Kat both, and you could see the wistfulness, and I always knew it was like, it was so fucking hard for you guys to be so far away from your family who seems are just so genuinely lovely, and I can understand why you would all be so close. And so it made total sense to me when you finally had to make the decision, because I saw how difficult it was for you to be away from them, even in like the heydays, the golden times before the pandemic, when things were, you know, we were all working together and hitting each other in the face with shit, and you know what I mean?
But yeah, no, and it was a good time to move back too. Like we moved back when we did, and you know,
sold your house in Austin 6 months too early.
It went up so much after we sold it. It skyrocketed. But yeah, we moved back. My sister had her son, her first kid, like after I moved back, so I can like be there when he's growing up, and I love it. And yeah, so but we do still. Anytime I go to Austin, I get invited down for a video. Kat is always just like devastated when she can't go, because she just wants to go and she just wants to see everyone and like say hi to everybody again. We do really miss it. If I just wish so much that I could be in both places at once.
Right.
Well, just stream enough, become a big enough ninja style streamer that you can buy like a mansion in Austin, and then you just split your time.
Or just a house would be fine.
Yeah, but if you had a mansion, I could be like, I got a friend with a mansion.
I got a friend with a mansion, and he's
and
not here.
He's rarely here, so yeah.
I co-own a mansion in a way.
Sort of. I'm the groundskeeper.
Awesome. So as the final question before we move on to Q&A, what are your biggest takeaways from doing Achievement Hunter? Like if you had to pick your one life lesson from Achievement Hunter, what would it be?
I would say, I assume Geoff's going to say something funny, so I'll say something. I would say a takeaway from Achievement Hunter, when it comes to making content, because I know there's a lot of people watching that probably make their own content or want to make their own content, stream or YouTube or whatever have you. As long as what you're making is something that you enjoy, something that you find funny, and if you're making it using a game that you enjoy, that you know and that you're having fun playing, and if you're doing it with people that you enjoy and people that you have fun playing with, it's going to be good content. If you like all of those aspects, other people watching it are going to like those aspects more often than not.
Definitely.
I think I totally agree with you there. I would say, here's my dumb, funny answer. I would say that there's a lot of strength and vulnerability, and it's okay to show it, is what I've learned.
I was prepared to laugh.
In the tenure of Rooster Teeth, yeah.
Awesome. All right, we're gonna open it up to audience Q&A, so go ahead and line up behind the mic. Try to keep it to one question, and keep in mind the Rooster Teeth panel is tomorrow, so let's keep this more Achievement Hunter centric.
It's even funnier than this that we're doing the Rooster Teeth panel.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so a lot of my content that I like from Achievement Hunter is like all the old shenanigans videos and the behind the scenes stuff. So I was going to ask what your favorite was, because I know Jeremy got taped to the wall. What was your personal favorite, either you being the victim or the, you know?
Well, I know for me, I think the entirety of Haunter was kind of like a dream come true to get to do that production and get to be a real life Ghostbuster. Not a successful one, but we were one.
Yeah.
But I would say when I think back on like my my favorite Achievement Hunter video of all time is probably you kicking that desk.
It worked out.
Classic.
Because I found out about it like at a convention, or like we were on tour or something.
We were on
Somebody goes,
tour.
"Here you go," and they showed me this video, and I was just like, "Oh my!" And I was just like, "How much trouble are we in? How much did that cost?" And then it was just, and then I watched it a second time and realized it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It was just too funny.
It's a desk, a monitor, and a keyboard. That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, you're not paying for it.
Yeah, and I wasn't. The shenanigans just in general were always really funny, even though they were often against me. Desk against the ceiling was just.
Jeremy gets a raise.
That was shocking. That was legitimately shocking. But there was just one. I don't even think it was a shenanigans. I think we just marketed it as a between the games with like smoke bombs, and like. Someone had sent us a bunch of smoke bombs, and we thought it was a great idea to set them off in the support room.
That sounds right.
And I just liked, the video starts with me walking into the support room, and like poor like Ashley and Larry are sitting there, and I just go, everyone hit the fucking deck. It's like, open a smoke bomb and tossed it in the next room. And we weren't the only ones in that building.
Oh.
There was a lot, they hated us. There was a lot of other people that worked in that building with us. They all had to stop working and leave the building because we
I remember that video.
because
It
we
was a good
smoked
one.
it out, and then
Yep.
another one because we set off like 30 stink bombs.
I got in. I founded that stupid company, right?
Yeah.
Co-founded it, and I didn't think I could get in trouble. I got in trouble for the smoke bomb, or not for the smoke bombs. I got in trouble for the stink bombs.
Yeah.
I set off 36 stink bombs at once in our office, and it didn't cross my mind that it would travel. And they're like, the other tenants, they would facilitate like concert equipment to big concerts like Lollapalooza or Bonnaroo and that shit. But they also provided practice space for big musicians. So it'd be like, oh shit, there's Neil Young playing, practicing before his show. Clear out, Neil Young. Somebody let off a bunch of fart bombs. And so I got really yelled at for that one and told that we would they would cancel our lease if I did it again. So
It went into the AC vents.
yeah.
The stink. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
I was also gonna ask for a quick Jeremy Birdo impression.
Birdo impression?
Yeah, from Mario Party. Thank you.
Hey guys, so I really love the new blood that's been in Achievement Hunter with Joe and Kai and BK, and I see the connections that y'all form behind the scenes, the friendships you form behind the scenes, and one that's notable for me right now is Michael and Joe, like Papa Michael and all that. I was curious if you guys had formed any of those connections with New Blood, and if you had any fun things behind the scenes or even on camera that I might have missed with the new folks.
Yeah, I mean, most of my interactions with the Joe and Kai and BK have been off camera.
Yeah.
But we did just do the tour with Kai and Joe, and I had a lot of time to bond with both of them. And I honestly, I feel very parental towards them. I don't know. I kind of, I genuinely love both of them, and I really got to know them on that tour, and that was really fun. And so I think I'll just when I think of Joe, I just think of him in a half shirt with his little belly out.
Yeah. Do that.
And then recently, I got to know BK pretty well because we just did a show together. That's I don't even think announced yet, but like another big show, not the one Jeremy was talking about, but similar. And I don't know. I just had the most fun with her. I think that also I've been a fan of her because I don't know if you guys are watching Survive Block Island, which is like a Minecraft show Achievement Hunter, Rooster Teeth at Large is doing, and I think she and Charlotte from Funhouse are by far the best part of it. And so, I don't know. I think the world of them.
Yeah, I wish I had had more opportunities to spend with them. I got to spend a lot of time with Kai and BK for their fair welcoming party in New York.
I was supposed to go to that and I got COVID.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
Great time just like saying goodbye to New York and welcoming them to Achievement Hunter. But what I realized hanging out with them there is that compared to them, I'm old. I'm getting old compared to them. They had so much energy. They were like going out they'd be like in the middle of the street in New York taking pictures with the stuff, and the person behind them would like honk, and they'd be like, "Hang on, like we're getting pictures," and I'm like, "Fuck that."
That's how old you were when I hired you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I still.
Look what happened.
Yeah, I learned to care.
Well, I think the energy you show with Kai in TTT Jeremy is always fun. I just felt like y'all had a funny connection in one of the last ones I watched.
She hates me.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
And I'm a little behind on Fuckface. Has Andrew eaten the pencil?
Are you behind? The question was, I'm a little behind on Fuckface. Did Andrew eat the pencil? Somebody asked me this the other day in person, and I'll give you this answer. This is the most honest answer I can give you. I will be equally surprised if Andrew never eats the pencil for the rest of his or my life, as I would be if I found out today that Andrew ate a pencil every day for the last year. I don't know.
Love it.
I really don't know.
An enigma.
It is an enigma.
50-50. Yeah, you've met him. We
him.
kicked you out of the Destiny raid for him.
You sure did. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
No
Thank
problem.
you.
Thank you.
That was a fun video.
It was.
Hi there.
Hello.
Hey.
So I'm a recent college graduate, and now I'm very fortunate to work with my two best friends from college, fraternity brothers, roommates. And so,
Well, say goodbye to that friendship.
Yeah.
oh shit, well, I'm not ready for this question. So how do you balance the goop and the professional work life and not the gray area that's in between? Like, how do you keep that separate from like the weekends to when you're in the office?
That's a great question. I guess the gist of it is like, how do you balance like starting a company with friends and maintaining those relationships and working together? It's not always doable, honestly. I hit a period where I realized I could, due to personal limitations, I couldn't manage Achievement Hunter and perform with Achievement Hunter at the same time anymore. I felt too close to those people, and I loved them too much that it was hard to have to be a boss to them as well, and it just caused me a lot of internal strife. And so I stepped down, and Lindsay took over, and then eventually Trevor took over from her. So the ultimate decision for me was to have to separate the two, and I couldn't be their boss and their friend anymore. I had to pick one, so I picked friend.
Perfect, because they're going to fire me one day. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm getting a root canal soon, so I was a little hesitant to come in this room with you.
Dude.
So please don't put that on me. but I was gonna ask, what's up with your sanity, man? Why do you keep fuck-facing yourself to sign hundreds of things? Because you complain every time you have to do it, but you're doing it.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like everything in my life, I think. It seems good in an instant. Jeremy knows about this. Like, the same thing happens in Achievement Hunter. When you think of something and it's funny enough, then you instantly know you have to do it. And you don't think about the ramifications. You don't think about how much it might physically or mentally exhaust you or hurt you. That's a problem for future Jeremy or future Geoff to deal with.
Exactly. They'll be sore, or they will be bored or angry or something.
Yeah, I
But
think
present Jeremy will be doing something that's funny.
I think we compartmentalize too well, maybe. Yeah.
That's fair. All right, thank you.
No problem.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so I recently started streaming on Twitch. Hi.
Congratulations.
Nice.
Thank you. I was wondering if you had any recommendations, because I want to also verge into YouTube and how to get started with that.
You've done this recently.
Well, yeah, in a way.
Duly noted gaming.
Yes, thank you. But so like for me, because I never wanted to be like a full-time streamer, like that be the only thing I wanted to do. I wanted to be like streaming and YouTubing at the same time. The thing is, you kind of need to dedicate yourself to one if you're just doing it by yourself. If you have like an editor or something like that, then you can maybe manage both. Because right now I just do the full-time, I stream and I upload archives to YouTube. If you're gonna do YouTube, and if you're gonna, you kind of have to pick an avenue as your primary, and then you can do the other one sort of as a secondary. Like if you wanted YouTube to be your main thing, but also do Twitch, you would like stream on Twitch, not have like the alerts popping up, and while you're doing it, do it like a YouTube video. You don't read chat and talk to them. You just focus on the content. You give your shout out at the beginning. You make sure at the end to let people know to subscribe, to click the bell, to do this. And I know that's sometimes annoying to hear from people because you hear it in all videos, like, hey, click that bell if you're brave enough, or whatever they do.
Punch that notification
But you
bell.
have to do it because that makes the algorithm happy. That makes you successful. You have to do stuff like that.
Yeah, they're such different animals, and it's very hard to do them both justice with the same piece of content. So it ends up, more often than not, you create an inferior product on one of the platforms, or you end up doing 2 or 3 times the work to get something decent on both.
Yeah. So if you're gonna do YouTube, my advice is to really dedicate yourself to that. Edit it down. Do intros, do outros. Make sure you're doing the panels at the end and everything, and make sure that it's something you would want to watch.
Yeah.
If it's something that you think is too long, someone who isn't you is gonna think it's way too long. So just make sure it's a piece of content that you would take in and watch.
Yeah, and then and to that end, I guess it's something that it's a feeling out process as you will continue on this journey. But you'll kind of figure out what kind of content you want to make. Like you may enjoy streaming and doing stream of consciousness way more than making edited videos, or you may be like me and put your foot in your mouth way too much for that, and so you need edited videos to keep from getting canceled.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Attaboy.
Hello.
Hey.
So with the way Achievement Hunter is going, how do you personally feel with the direction it's now taking?
So for me, I like the direction that Achievement Hunter is going right now because when I was in Achievement Hunter, the videos I always liked the most were Let's Watches. I loved doing Let's Watches of sitting back and they would go for half an hour or so and we just yell at the person playing. I loved doing that. And now they're going to kind of shorter form content. And before I watched Achievement Hunter, or before I worked there, short form content was all I watched. I watched a lot of Scene Anners and Mr. Sark and that kind of stuff. Just highly edited short videos. Because that's all I really have time for.
Do you ever play with Scene Anners or?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like that too.
Nanners is doing well. He's doing good. But seeing Achievement Hunter kind of go to that shorter form content of stuff that I can more easily watch, I'm really happy with the direction it's going. I think it's working out for them with the algorithm, and I think there's a lot of people that I know are disappointed in it because they like the really, really long content. It's just that it has such a smaller market nowadays unless you're on Twitch.
Yeah.
YouTube really long videos doesn't have as much of a market as it used to.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I feel like sometimes they get the new generation gets a little unfairly criticized for trying to navigate this world, but we were always doing that. We've been doing that since day one. Every decision they make is one that we made in the past in some capacity or in some way. I quite love it. I think that I was kind of I guess hitting this sentiment a little bit earlier, but I think for Achievement Hunter to continue and to succeed, it needs to be at the behest of a newer, younger, more plugged-in group of people. I am Jeremy's no spring chicken, and I am very close to death. And so the idea that I would know how to entertain a bunch of 17-year-olds at 47 is a little weird to me. I'm getting further and further away from that audience, and we've, a lot of people will, I read this all the time, that Achievement Hunter is going for a younger audience. That's not actually the case.
Going for the same
it never has.
age audience.
We've just always been going for the same audience we've always had.
Yeah.
It's just I find that when people say that, they tend to be a little older than they were when they first discovered Achievement Hunter, and they have aged, and they're not recognizing that the content is maybe a little less mature than they are now.
Right.
Because we're just super not mature. And so I think it's exciting. I really do. I love to see creativity in action, and the people that are there are incredibly talented and have been for a long time. But I'm speaking specifically to Joe and BK and Kai. They are balls of creative energy and fury, and I love when people are at that phase of their career, because that's when a lot of the best stuff happens. And so it's been great to get to watch them kind of get their way in the door and start to kind of inform that under the tutelage of Trevor, who's incredibly capable, kind of spearhead this into the next, I don't know, the next whatever it's going to be,
Right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Just to make sure everyone has a chance to ask their question, let's try to pick up the
That's
pace.
mostly on us.
Yeah, we can stop giving you 3-hour-long answers.
You guys
Yeah.
are great,
Sorry.
but I want to make sure we get through everyone.
Got it.
So my question just kind of pertains to like the production of Achievement Hunter.
Sure.
And like what advice you would give to someone that like wants to work production, in like that manner.
Do you mean like
I
the
guess.
editor wise?
No, like in the physical aspect of it.
In terms of like being an entertainer or doing like record like.
Like setting it up and like.
Oh, like doing I don't know.
Well, it's weird to us to think of like Achievement Hunter as a production, right? Because we are basically characters in part of this. When you say it's something that you want to do, like so not the editing part of it, but you want to do like what we do, right? I just want to make sure we're answering the right thing.
More like just being around like the environment of production, creativity, all of that really.
So like kind of like a writer working in production.
PAing is a great way to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
a foot in the door.
Yeah, that PAing is a great way to start just like being around people like that, people in the it really, you need to get some practice in where you can. Make videos, just get your ideas like written down, pitch ideas when you can to different groups.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really all you can do because it's such a saturated market. Find it, and honestly, sometimes if what you want to do is producing and that's what you want to get into, sometimes the avenue is to do something else to create content or whatever, just to get into that sphere, right? And then you can kind of dial in more on what it is that you want to do. Like, because a lot of people that work jobs at Achievement Hunter, made videos or were streamers or anything, and now are editors for us, or like we had Alec on, and Alec worked behind the scenes on Ready Set Show. He was like the camera operators and behind all that. Fiona was the sound operator and stuff like that. Like, it's just, once you're like in the sphere, then you can start dialing in on the exact job. But for now, it's just like getting into it, like making content, creating, editing, doing things like that to make something that can be noticed.
Yeah, if you want to get into producing and production, find people that want to be produced, that you want to spend time with. Yeah, and really, I mean, everything that we know and everything that we've done is self-taught and learned from the ground up.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Yeah, no
Thanks.
problem.
We didn't keep that short like we said we would. I'm sorry.
Howdy.
Fine.
So, I'm a college student finishing up, so my mind's 100 miles a minute. So, simple question. Are there any off-the-wall games that you guys have heard of? And would either of you ever consider playing a indie game called Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion?
Allow me to give you a very long answer to this question. Weirdest game, General Jousting. And yes, I'll play any game.
Okay.
Yeah, if people are gonna want to watch it, absolutely, we're gonna play it. I mean, General Jousting was so weird. You were just
Yeah.
Pretty
dicks
weird.
banging each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
There's a whole butthole
those.
level.
Yeah, that was a interesting one.
Like,
but
YouTube let us get away with that.
yeah,
Remember that?
I remember scrolling through and seeing a bunch of oddball games, and I remember thinking that Turnip Boy was a joke.
Yeah, I mean, like we'll play whatever as long as it's not offensive.
Yeah.
Right.
Then we'll play it.
Yeah, reasonably.
As
Thank
long
you.
as we think people will watch
No
it.
worries. Hello.
Hey guys. I was just wondering, what is the first game you remember rage quitting?
It was one of the NFL Blitz games for me. on like the PS2, I was just getting my ass kicked. And I remember like not knowing how to react, right? And I'm not saying I'm religious, but I remember going,
Don't know where to put that energy.
Man, I'm so fucking old. I feel like that's all I ever say. I gotta get some new jokes. But I remember the first video game I ever played was Joust at a Pizza Inn in Portland, Oregon. That's not important to this. I don't know why I told you that. But I fucking hated that game. Like, I liked the idea, and I was so excited, and then I was not immediately good at it, and I fucking hated it. And I definitely rage quit that. And if they hadn't also had a Miss Pac-Man, I don't know that I would have gotten into gaming. I was like, I'll put my quarter over here instead, and then Pac-Man was a totally different world. But yeah, I was on the razor's edge of never being a gamer because of Joust.
Thanks, guys.
nice.
Hey guys.
Hey.
One quick question. Just how are you guys doing?
Yeah, doing all right.
Yeah, we're okay.
And then a slightly longer question. So when it comes to hiring new talents and everything for Achievement Hunter, where and how do you look for people to join the team?
Well, it's kind of a convoluted process. We have a person named Juwan at Rooster Teeth whose job is to find talent. And so he does a lot of like scouring Twitch and YouTube and other places on the internet, looking at young talent, looking at what's coming out. But a lot of it also comes from the talent themselves, like the people that Jeremy's streaming with, the relationships he's making. Maybe like we're not going to hire Chilled, he doesn't need us, but he might have a friend that's just getting
But
started.
Cheesy might.
Yeah. Or like Kai and BK and the friends that they have, and so you meet people through people, and then you have somebody come in and guest, and then you really like them, and it really clicks well. I'm thinking of like people like Blizzbear, and then you see who they also play with, and you just kind of follow down the rabbit holes of internet like video game relationships, and yeah. It's a fun process.
Yeah. And they have to be scouted out first. The last thing you want to do is bring someone in to see how they do, and then you find a video of them saying something awful or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh, it's bad. So yeah, we have someone specifically who looks at the channel.
We had to pay so much money to have all of Jeremy's old videos removed from the internet.
I actually did that just in case.
All right, thank you guys.
No worries.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hey.
So I actually have a bit of a question because I have a younger cousin who's is a very popular vlogger. This is actually more aimed at you, Geoff, because like I said, I know you have your daughter Millie. So in a way, so as both a parent and a content creator, how would you kind of feel about Millie following in your footsteps?
I would be cool with it. I think. I feel like. I think it's a difficult career field, and I know like a lot of actors say they would never want their kids to follow in the acting footsteps and have to deal with all the dysfunction in Hollywood. There's definitely a lot of that in this environment as well. But I would feel I just want her to do what makes. At the end of the day, I want her to be happy, and I want her to do what fulfills her. So if she wants to be a veterinarian, I would support the shit out of that. If she wants to be a YouTuber, I'll support the shit out of that. If she wants to be a VTuber, I don't know why, but I'll support the shit out of that. Like, it really doesn't. If she wants to be an accountant, I'll wear my daughter's an accountant T-shirt. But I guess in some ways I would be okay with it because I feel like I can provide a lot of guidance and mentorship to help her navigate. If that were her decision, but it's up to her, man.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, I totally get it, and yeah, but thank you so much.
No worries.
Oh, the pressure.
Pressure's on.
The only thing people are going to remember from this panel is the last question asked.
I hope this is good then. My question is just, I know like a month ago, you guys got rid of the production slate.
Yeah.
Completely, that you guys have had for like 10 years. Do you feel like getting rid of having to do specific videos every single week has made production more fun, or has been a little more fun to do, doing the videos you want to do?
Well, I can't speak to that specific instance because Jeremy and I just aren't on the ground doing stuff with them day to day. But we've done that before in the past. Like there was a time when we had a very strict schedule with Go and Versus and all the other fucking shows we have, and we got rid of everything but Minecraft and GTA. And we kept those two because they were just so strong and people were so like vociferous in their support for them. And I remember that being very liberating back in the day. I remember there was it's so funny, it's all cyclical. Everything's been done before in some capacity. Yeah. All these changes and all these things that we're trying. But I would imagine it's quite liberating. I will say, one thing to keep in mind that I think people forget is the schedule of videos wasn't always just for the audience. It was also for the employees too.
Yeah, and again, I'm not there doing all the videos anymore, but I can tell you that the feeling of Sarah walking into the room and saying we needed GTA for Monday and we had no ideas, and like there was, you know, nothing was built or nothing like was on, and then having to then force a GTA video to happen. It sucked when, like, especially if there was some other game that we really wanted to play.
Yeah.
And we're like, I just want to play more of this. And it's like, well, too bad. You got to do this episode of GTA. You got to do this Minecraft. And like that hurt. No one wants to watch it. We still want to play GTA when something really fun comes out. But like, it always hurt the video when people were just like, okay, yeah, I guess we'll do something.
Kind of directionless.
Conversely, to the flip side of that, I'm gonna drag this out. The flip side of that is you go into work and everybody goes, "What do you guys want to play today?" And nobody has an idea, and you go, "Fuck, we got to play something." Or, "How about GTA? Has anybody got any ideas in GTA?" And everybody like, "No," and they go, "Well, at least we know how to play that." You
We
know?
do. Well, like, and that's the thing. That
A lot of times you end up in the same place. It's
GTA
just-
did have a good fallback of. They have some game modes that are just always like playing top fun or playing overtime rumble and stuff like that.
Dude,
It's
I
always fun.
fuck offense defense, man.
Oh yes.
Love that so
Good
much.
times. But yeah, I think it's super freeing to not have that schedule anymore, because it doesn't mean that things like TTT and GTA and Minecraft are going away. It's just then they can be played when there is an idea and when the crew wants to
With
play.
purpose. And I think a great example of that, still dragging this question out, is Survive Block Island is a prime example of us taking the time to make a Minecraft show that we want to make and not having to be, and that would have been impossible to do if we were trying to hit the Friday calendar every week.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much, and thanks for coming to Atlanta. We all probably appreciate it a lot.
All right, before we wrap up, is there anything you guys want to promote real quick? Anything coming up? Events or...
Promote your podcast.
I don't play video games anymore because of the old joke I made a bunch earlier. So I do podcasts now. So I do a podcast called Anma with my friend Gus, and I do one with Annual Pass with my coworker Jack, and I do a podcast called Fuckface with my friends Gavin and Andrew, if anybody's interested.
And if you want to see me, I stream on twitch.tv/Dooley Noted Gaming like 4 or 5 times a week. And we just had another album come out, my band 1551. We just released a new album, so that's out there. You can check that out. And other than that, next big thing I have coming up is RTX. So if anyone's going to RTX, I'll be there and I'll say hi.
Yeah, please come see us at RTX if you...
Yeah, cool. And then remember, you can catch them tomorrow at the Rooster Teeth panel at 5:30.
Where we'll answer all these same questions again if you ask them.
But in the
I'll keep
context
them
of
fresh.
Rooster
I'll
Teeth.
keep them fresh. And then Geoff, you have Walk of Fame at 3 p.m. tomorrow and 1:30 p.m. Sunday. Jeremy, you have yours at 2 p.m. tomorrow and 1 p.m. Sunday. So catch them there.
Not together.
Thank God you were here because we were useless with that.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the rest of the con.
Go see things.